Hello and thank you for joining the Monday edition of Journalist Hangout. I'm Ayodele Uzuwakun. Today on the program, NCC shut down telecom operations in Zamfara State over worsening insecurity as bandits killed 20 in reprisal attack in Magami. Niger State, and later on the show, federal government insists on no work, no pay policy, agrees to meet other resident doctors' demand. I'll be hanging out with Babajide Kolade Otitoju and Gani Kayode Balogun. So if you're ready, let the hangout start now. As we begin, the JH family wishes to sympathize with Governor Darius Ishaku over the death of his cousin, that's late Pastor Irimiya Danjuma Ezekiel. He played a prominent role in his administration, and until his demise, he was the general manager of Taraba State Government World Bank Community and Social Development Project, CSDP, which executed projects across the 168 wards in the states. The redeemed pastor died of heart attack and was buried today. Jude, this is a sad one, and it's a very big one for Governor Darius Ishaku to bear.
Yes, the governor has not been himself for the past few days because this person was very, very close to him. Very, very close to him. So it's a massive loss on account of even his competence in the discharge of his duties. He was a winner of many awards because of projects executed, the quality of projects executed. So we can only wish the governor the heart to bear this unexpected loss of a dear cousin.
Just coming at a time that his impacts that was felt in across 168 wards, yes, what he was doing as the general manager of Taraba, yes, State Government and World Bank Community Social, it shows his
yes,
impact.
Those projects are usually meant for the poor communities, the most basic things that they need. Like that's what the World Bank usually goes for.
Yes,
those water supply,
life directly.
Yes, boreholes, things like that. It's a very big loss. Even a journalist, some of who had interacted with him in his time, are pained that the man is gone.
Okay, we just pray that God will grant the family the fortitude to bear this loss.
Amen.
Now, the prevailing security situation has necessitated the Nigerian Communications Commission to announce an immediate shutdown of all telecommunications services in Zamfara states. The commission said this is to enable security agencies carry out required activities towards addressing the security challenge in the state. Meanwhile, armed bandits invaded Magami community in Shiroro local government area of Niger State on Friday night, killing at least 20 persons in what was described as a retaliatory attack by gunmen. Judy, let's start from Zamfara State, because I read it this morning. Some newspaper carried it that that NCC even extended the activities to Sokoto, Kebbi State, and some people just woke up, they couldn't operate their GSM network. But this is necessary to take security measures, especially this Zamfara State. Anything the government can do to forestall the further breakdown of law and order will be welcomed.
Yes, and this is a welcome operation. We asked for it. We've been saying, look, we needed a serious, coordinated military campaign against these guys. Coordinated in the sense that we are not going to simply focus on one state. That strategy had not worked. So this time around, the armed forces, their commanders have chosen to do it differently. Yes, Zamfara is the heartbeat of it. their forests are extensive. They have more bandit leaders. They have more bandits in the state than other areas. And the bandits operating in Zamfara also have this character of moving into neighboring states because the forests link one another. For example, Turuji, one of the bandit leaders, one of the most famous bandit leaders, operates in the east of Zamfara. That is Zurume, Shinkafi, all those areas, but he is able to move into Katsina as well. So he has influence even on parts of Katsina. So to deal decisively with that kind of character and his people, the operation must be coordinated. It can't be focused on one state. So now the information that we are getting is that as we are hitting them hard in Zamfara, we are also hitting them in the Birnin-Gwari area of Kaduna, because Birnin-Gwari is also is the bandit capital of Kaduna State. In fact, the whole Birnin-Gwari, the one they call the old city of Birnin-Gwari, the bandits operate like they are the law, they are the government in that area. And every effort we've made in the past have not succeeded. But right now, the armed forces prepared for this operation. One of the biggest problems we have is the role of, in both in the northeast and in the northwest, is the role of informants. Bandits, with the money, with the quantum of money that they make, they've been able to hire dozens of informants in the areas where they operate. And these informants give them information about troops movement. They give them information about individuals who are traveling. For example, how would bandits know this is Truji, Bello Truji Gude, you know, who operates in the Zurumi, Shinkafi, and even parts of Sokoto State?
Look at him.
He's just 26 years.
Dear devil.
But he's a devil as we are looking at him. You know? He's just 26. 26 years. You know? So now, those informants make it difficult for us to be able to lay our hands on them because they run away once they provide information. But how does the informant communicate? You see someone who is like an old man, you know, selling just a few things, whereas he's just an informant. You see an old woman, you know, she's an informant. Now, how do they communicate when the phones, they can't use their phones? So that will enable the military to be able to do their work without these guys being able to do anything. Now, the operation is on. The Nigerian army is rolling out its big guns. The 40 barrels, the most sophisticated artillery weapon in the armory of the Nigerian army, is being deployed in this operation. We've shown the video of 40 barrels before. Anywhere you use it, you can, the whole place gets burnt down completely, and it has a range of 19 miles, minimum of 19 miles. So no matter how big their forest is, when we roll out the 40 barrels into their enclave, they know that they are finished. So this is an operation, it's an ongoing operation, but we are recording success. I can announce to Nigerians that we are recording successes at this time, and they are feeling the pinch. They are really, really feeling the pinch, which is what we want.
Okay, to shed more light into this story, I'd like to play this story so that we have a better understanding.
Zamfara State has been a hotbed of criminal activities ranging from banditry, kidnapping, and farmer-heather clashes for over a decade. The resurgence of attacks on communities and mass abduction of persons and students in recent times is worrisome. Communities in Zurmi, Bakura, Bungudu, Safi, Bukuyun, Shinkafi, and Maru local government areas have in the last 1 week suffered deadly attacks by the bandits. The bandits have even launched an attack on a police outpost, killing a police officer and other victims. This prompted the state governor Bello Matawali and security agencies in the state to take stringent measures aimed at addressing the problem. The state government has ordered the closure of all schools and weekly markets, suspended transportation of livestock beyond the state borders, restricted movement of motorcycles from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., while transportation of food items will be subject to verification. This decision has not gone down well with some residents, especially traders and those in the cattle business.
Shi dai talaka gaskiya bai ji daɗi ba wani gehe.
We are not happy with the decision because it will affect our income and our businesses. Government should devise another means of addressing insecurity. They know the best way out.
We are committed to assist government in tackling insecurity, but we are calling on the government to open our weekly markets. There is hunger in the land.
The Nigerian Communication Commission (NCC) has also shut down all communication services in the state in order to cut off communication to criminal elements. The shutdown is to last for 2 weeks. Some residents consider the move and other measures as a step in the right direction, while others bemoan the action.
I'm okay with all the measures the government have taken to end the insecurity in the states.
It's a very welcome development to us because we have seen the spread of insecurity affecting the economic and social life of the people. We have to sacrifice this period in order to forestall peace in the state.
Many communities have fled their communities and abandoned their farms and livestock due to incessant attacks by the bandits. Authorities in the state says Zamfara has over 600,000 displaced persons as a result of banditry. This decision is coming 6 months after the federal government has declared Zamfara a no-fly zone and banned all mining activities in the state. Residents are hopeful that this decision taken by the government will bring a lasting end to over a decade insecurity bedeviling the state. Theophilus Darufai, TVC News, Gusau.
GKB, what do you make of this new security measure?
Well, I'm very happy that they are doing what they ought to have done about a year ago when we mentioned it on this program. Remember when they declared the no-fly zone, we said there that it's not a sprint, it's a marathon, and that we must be ready to go all the way. These measures now have shown that the federal government and the Nigerian army are now ready to apply what they call the scorched earth policy. Basically, don't give room for the bandits to regroup and cause more damage down the line. I think the best thing about this is the fact that they can stem the current level of bravado being shown by the bandits when it comes to striking vulnerable villages around Zamfara State. This is based solely on the fact that we've realized that until and unless they cut off the logistics to these bandits, we continue to move around in circles. So this one will stop, maybe not totally, minimize the number of informants that can get information across to the bandits. But after the 2 weeks, what next? That's what we need to work on in the next few weeks. Because no matter the success the Nigerian army achieves in the next 2 weeks, if we go back to where we were without a corresponding follow-up in such a manner to show that they've been scorched verily, then I'm afraid we'll come back to where we are today without any corresponding results.
That's true.
So, GKB is talking about the essence of following up and just pushing ahead.
Yes, these measures are not meant to last forever, but the government envisages that when we have these measures simultaneously with the military operation going on, we would have some respite from banditry. It is how effective we deliver our array of weapons, our range of weapons on these good-for-nothing bandits that will determine whether our people can live in peace in those areas. They may have all these weapons, but they don't have air power. And the good thing is that the Tucano bombers have been officially inducted in a ceremony that was low-key. Now, the bombers are set for battle, and we will see the benefit of having such a high-tech fighter bomber in our arsenal. So these guys, they have overstayed their welcome. They've been offered avenues for peace in the past, which they refused to take. So But now they are feeling the heat. They are begging government officials in Zamfara and in Katsina State for talks. But the officials are telling them, no, the time for talks has gone. When we tried to negotiate with you, you showed that you could not be trusted. This is 2G. You showed that you could not be trusted. So
Still
now,
keeping some of our children.
now, yes. Look, in Kaduna, they will have been wasted the other day. They got about 80 of them, and they kept the students with them. So they are using those students as human shields. Now, if you were to strafe them, use an aircraft to strafe them, you will kill those children. That's why they are still there. And the Governor Nasiru's body language is clear. He does not want to have any discussion with them. He has said that they have lost their rights to life because they have been taking other people's lives. So, and that is what we want the government to continue. The armed forces must be encouraged to sustain this operation. Thankfully, it is from Katsina that the Air Force takes off for this operation. So they will be able to have sustained sorties over the area, over those areas, so that we can level that forest, the Kuyambana forest and the Dansadao forest, where these guys have been doing a lot of damage and keeping people. Once we are able to do that, our people will have peace. I know that what it takes, look at this, is the panic that they put our people in unnecessary panic.
Yes, yes.
Once they are on the road, this is Niger State. Once they are on the road, our people cannot move. So how much longer can this go on? Yes, this is Niger State.
Country.
You know, you just making life difficult for people. To live in Nigeria is already difficult. Bandits are now even making it more difficult.
Honestly.
You know, the ordinary Nigerian wants to merely just survive.
We are not even talking about cost of
yes,
foodstuff and everything.
people are grappling with that. Nigerians
that
are going through a lot. Now, bandits will not let us live in our country. You know? So when they say okay, they want to negotiate, it's a lie. They will go back to catching people. So now is the time to deal with these guys once and for all. That's the way it's done. That's the way it's done. Coordinated attack. Don't give them any room to escape. In any case, some of the roads, you see, when the state government, when the Katsina state government decided that it was going to close some roads, some people felt, why should you close roads? Those are the roads that they pass through. There are other alternatives, but for them, for the kind of evil work that they are doing, those are the roads, neglected roads, you know, where very few vehicles are passing. Those are the roads that they use. Now, anybody that passes through that road is a legitimate target. Anybody remaining in the forest of Dansadao, Kuyambana, Rugu forest in Katsina, that person is a legitimate target, and the armed forces must take that person out. Enough of this nonsense.
GKB, what we need to sustain this, because this is not only Katsina. It's something something that has spilled over, and they make the way they operate is now looking more of that of Boko Haram. Get to a village, burn it, steal what you want to steal and everything. And if we have to make sure that this campaign is all encompassing to sweep them up, and if you know some of them, they are now even down south.
And because you have to look at the timeline given by the military on how to do this operation. The current operation, according to them, will take 2 weeks. I expect that this will strike at the heart of the bandits in the forest of Zamfara and parts of Niger State. Once that is done, they now apply what people who do strategy call the L principle. That means they will take them from the lowest possible points and start spreading in different directions. So once this is done in Zamfara, and they alienate these people and make sure they are no longer as big a threat as they are right now, then they can now spread in different directions to mop up whatever is left in Zamfara and parts of Katsina State. It is only then that when you stop them from gaining new grounds and from taking our villages out, that we know that we've succeeded. And this is not something that will happen in the next 1 month. It's something we have to stay with for a while. That's why the Nigerian Defense Forces, they need to continue at this rate to ensure that, one, that our people are safe and go back to their villages, and two, that there are no more rooms for them to reimburse their logistics. That to me is key. No fuel for them to buy, no motorcycle for them to use, no road for them to ply.
That's the essence of those steps that the Katsina State government took. Now they can't buy petrol in gallons and in jerry cans anymore. That has been banned in the state.
Cut their access to Okada.
Yes, they cannot. They cannot buy petrol to fuel their Okadas. They have their Okadas, but access to the petrol to fuel them, because they move around a lot. Now, if you can't buy petrol,
Surveillance.
how do you then fuel your Okada? How do you move around? They are very mobile. They can move from Jibia to Niger State, right inside the forest. They know how to link all those communities. You can imagine those children that were kidnapped in Tegina. It was in Kebbi State that they took them to.
Yeah.
You know, and I know that it must have been on bikes. As many as those children are, they must have put them on bikes through the forest. You know, on bike it is not that far. In the forest, it is not that far. It is when we go through the road that you are talking about a very long journey. So now it is what is called the blind operation is what we are doing. Unfortunately for us, because we cannot hold the ground, but if we exterminate them from a location, then the need to hold ground may not really be yes. So, but we are decimating them. We are burning all their camps, setting their camps ablaze, and killing them. Is a big operation, and it is yielding dividends. Now, access. You are talking about logistics. Access to the food that they need is being blocked.
Yeah.
When they bring trucks loaded with firewood and the rest, underneath those trucks, they have guns. Some even put bags of rice underneath those trucks to go and supply them. Now that one is being stopped. The government of Katsina State has warned bakers because they supply them bread. Now they've told them, if you insist on supplying bread to these bandits, then we will have to shut down your bakery.
Yes, they should cut their access to food. Idris is calling us from Sokoto. Thank you, Idris. Idris, go ahead, please.
Hello?
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Hello?
Let's go ahead, Idris.
Talking.
You're live, Idris. Well, I don't think Idris is ready to talk to us. So, you know, we are looking at, okay, how did we get here? As in, anytime I'm looking at these pictures, I see young men. I see people that I know they were conscripted somehow, and these are not just something that is limited to the shore of this country.
When you see, there was a video of a 13-year-old boy that went viral. The boy could cock a gun, he could unload a gun, he could even dismantle a gun completely. He was arrested in the camp of bandits. Now, you look at someone like Turji. Turji had been there since the time of Buhari Ndaji, who was killed by Dogo Gide. I've seen some newspapers report that he was killed by Nigerian forces. He was not killed by Nigerian forces, he was killed by Dogo Gide.
No,
because he stole cattle belonging to Dogo Gide's in-laws. And Dogo Gide went to him. But he said, look, I've sold the cattle, there's nothing you can do. And Dogo Gide killed him immediately. And then left the Dansadao area and moved to Niger State, where he is now the king. So these guys, they bring young people into this trade early, and they begin to train them. By the time you see a 26-year-old boy, he's already a warlord, he's already the leader of a bandit group. Even Dogo Gide himself is not up to 30 years. So by the time you see them making all the, being strong and controlling a wide area, they had been there for years. It's not as if a young man suddenly became a bandit leader. So they recruit them young, so at that point they can brainwash them and use them for all kinds of atrocities.
I have Lawal. Okay, we lost Lawa. I wanted to ask about but we'll talk more after the break. So we'll take this break. When we come back, we'll talk more. Please stay with us. Welcome back. Before we went on break, let's go to Niger State now.
Okay.
Now, in Niger State, we were seeing on Friday night killing at least 20 persons in what is described as a retaliatory attack by gunmen. And the situation is so volatile in those areas. We've spoken extensively about Zamfara. Now it's Niger State. And the impression I have about Niger State is they have unguided territories.
I think it's the biggest state in terms of landmass in Nigeria today. And like I said on another program, Niger is technically the size of the Southwest minus Lagos. That's how big Niger State is. So a lot of unprotected territories are there and a lot of forests, especially along the eastern link, where they come from, forests from Zamfara down south. And that to me is where the next battle will be. Once we've taken them out in areas where they control, they will now start looking for soft targets that they can arm us with. And that is where the level of preparation will have to come in. Because I have no doubt in my mind that the current operation and the subsequent ones are going to decimate these people to a level that they will bring down their level of threats to almost zero. But while we are doing that, there will still be remnants who are going to continue hitting soft targets like the one they hit on Friday, which is rather unfortunate. You can't protect everywhere. So what we need to do is make sure that as many as possible are taken out so that their threat will be minimized.
Julie, Niger State is another big problem. And when you look at the Shiro area and the number of people killed and the report, both the ones reported and not reported.
Yes, even this picture you are seeing.
Ah!
No, not this one.
Okay.
The picture before this, the one they showed.
The one with RPG.
They were people kidnapped in Niger State. They were the Niger State Transport Authority passengers who were kidnapped about this time that they kidnapped those students of government college, Kankara. So this is Niger State. This is Niger State. Now, the state government has encouraged vigilantes to defend communities. But as I've said repeatedly, vigilantes cannot stand up to these boys because of the kind of weapons that they have. Now, you want vigilantes to stop them. They can't do so much because the vigilante carries maybe den guns and clubs, or maybe arrows, bows and arrows and all that.
Machetes.
But these ones have, see, that's RPG. Some of them have GPMG, which they are ready to use at any time. Some even have AAs, as we have seen the ones that brought down the Nigerian Air Force Alpha Jet. It was an AA that they fired at them. We never knew that bandits already, just like Boko Haram, now have anti-aircraft guns. So that is what we are seeing. Now, whenever bandits, vigilantes stand up to them and they record casualties, you can be sure that they come back. Anytime you see big casualties in a community, is usually in response to vigilantes confronting them. We've seen in some cases up to 120 people killed on a market day. That's the way they behave. They will come in anger so that in future you will not want to take that step again. So in Niger State, we have lost many vigilantes. This is just one. Yes, many vigilantes have been lost to these guys because they do not want to see the vigilantes. They take them on, they kill them because they know that they are better armed than the vigilantes. So if we want vigilantes to confront these people, then we should be ready to equip them with the kind of guns that these guys are carrying.
And train them.
And train them sufficiently. That way they will be able to stand up to the threat that these boys constitute. These guys kill soldiers now.
There's a story that...
So if they take on soldiers, even in that same Niger state, they destroyed 2 army barracks and the barracks were closed.
You know, there's a story on
countless police stations,
running now. Somebody that was apprehended and he confessed to have brought over 850 round of AK-47 to Nigeria and from the Nigerian Republic.
You've said that all the time.
How?
Weapons come into our country. Our borders are now well policed. It will have been worse if not because Chad has just a small border with Nigeria. It's very small, just a few kilometers. In the case of Niger Republic, which in my view is partially a failed state, in the case of Niger Republic, we are talking about almost 900 kilometers of border with Nigeria, stretching through 6 states. So weapons will come in. Weapons will come in because, remember, to even this same Niger Republic, they are not far from Libya. Those weapons will come in through Chad, Niger, and straight into Nigeria. So this is the thing. This is it. So we really can. How do we block those weapons from coming in? Do you know that some of them even come through the waterways? In Kebbi State, we have River Niger. River Niger, we have River Niger serving as a border between Nigeria and Niger Republic in some parts of Kebbi State. They bring in weapons through the waterways. I've seen people who are arrested bringing in weapons to our country through the River Niger. So this is the thing. Is something, when we win this war, we then have to do something about how weapons come in, because it is weapons that propel them. Without the weapons, they are just like an ordinary person. They can't fight. But as long as they're able to bring in those weapons unrestrained, then we will be in trouble. We have to deal with that. We have to solve that problem.
That's like our current reality when you see a 17-year-old boy handling a general purpose machine gun.
17 is an old soldier. You're talking about 14 and 13, where they were trained to cook, to clean, and to amass. You're talking about, you know what happened to the child soldiers of Sierra Leone? That's exactly what we are looking at. People who've been devoid of any emotion.
Yes.
At a very early age.
They are the most wicked of young people.
They don't know the difference between good and bad.
You just mentioned 26 years.
One of these bandit leaders told my friend, who is a government official in Katsina, that it is only cowards that want to go to heaven. So you can imagine, can any sensible person who has emotions talk like that? Is a bandit leader is saying, look, that is only the cowards who want to go to heaven. Meaning that people who do atrocities like him, they do not care where they end up. I've said repeatedly, these guys are not Muslims. If you see them, you think that they are Muslims. You don't know what you are doing. A lot of them are animists. They don't even have a religion. They are animists. They don't believe in any identity. They don't believe in any religion. So what they just want to do is stay in that bush and be causing pain to people, just killing people, and you can't talk to them.
Pleasure in doing that.
You can't talk to them. You can't, and you appeal to them. You are wasting your time. They are not ready to give it up until they die in the process. When they die, they accept their fate. But to preach to them, to say, if not, Daudawa, who swore on the Holy Quran, he would not have returned to the forest now. If truly he was a true Muslim. How will a true Muslim swear to the Holy Quran and within a few weeks is back in the forest and he got killed by a rival bandit leader? So that is the thing. You know, they are not.
That's the only life they know.
Yes, they know. They are not interested in your preaching to them to convert. No, they are not.
Their value system is different from yours.
Yes, they
don't want to kill and maim and make money.
Yes, as long as they can make money, they are fulfilled. And the bandit leaders, those ones look clean, but look at their foot soldiers. Those foot soldiers, they don't give them in some cases more than 5,000. No matter how successful that operation is, no matter the millions that they get.
Because there is another king.
Yes, the bandit boy just gets 5,000 naira. That's what is happening. And we are saying, look,
life is so cheap.
There are some big Nigerians who are behind this. We need to unmask them, Because it's not these boys that we see in the bush that are the true.
For
they don't have access to that money. Nobody.
700 million naira.
No, when you see them, you know that this person has not collected millions. He has collected millions in names.
His life will change.
Yeah.
It's not. If somebody, or in one operation, you make about 100 million. You make 125 million. And then these boys will still look haggard, still look dirty. It means that they are leaders and their collaborators who are living with us that they are making
in high places.
Yes. So let's just sustain the operation. Kudos to the armed forces. You know, I was happy speaking with a soldier who told me that, look, they are the ones who are begging us now. Well, in the past, we used to beg them. They are the ones who are begging us now because the kind of big guns that we took to the place, they were not expecting it.
Smoke them out.
Yes, they burn them alive. When 40 barrels descends on an area, all that you see is burnt bodies.
To give
terrible way to die.
To give a perception, 19 kilometers is like shooting a gun from Baga and hitting him away. That's how far away the guns
so no matter how big they are, for the forest where they are is.
So imagine somebody shooting from Baga and hitting somebody in Redeem Camp.
All right, moving on now. It is the season of strikes in Nigeria as more unions brace up to shut down the economy. The federal government has insisted that the no work, no pay policy will be enforced on striking members of the Nigerian Association of Resident Doctors, NARD. The government also said it would withdraw the case it instituted against the doctors only if they return to their duty posts. NARD has been on strike since 2nd of August 2021 over irregular payment of salaries, among other issues. Labour Minister Chris Ngige, after briefing President Muhammadu Buhari on the health sector, said the no work, no pay policy is a global practice captured in Section 43 of the Trade Disputes Act under the International Labour Organization. He stated that the government had in the past enforced the no work, no pay rule on unions that embarked on strike. Should we be talking about, punishment now? This punitive measure that might not get us anywhere. Because, yes, we know the minister is substantiating, is backing up his threats with the international labor law and everything, no work, no pay policy and everything. But I was thinking that they should do everything to come to the round table, even if it means withdrawing the cases against this union to solve this problem. This no work, no pay, the resident doctors, they are not ready to budge. Moving further now, JOESU, the joint health unions all across the health industry, they are now saying that they are going to embark on a solidarity strike.
Yes, because other people are being made to work extra hard because of the absence of
resident doctors.
Work long hours.
Yes, you can't expect consultants to do the work of these young doctors.
Residencies.
It's just not going to work. On the issue of no work, no pay, I think that labor unions in Nigeria should be so well organized to the point that when you want to go on strike, you have a ready pool.
For at least 6 months.
Yes, from where you can pay stipends to your members in the course of the strike. That is how it is done in other lands.
Hardship.
That is how it is done in other lands. Because you can't go on strike for 6 months, for example, or longer than that, and expect that during that period when you are not working, they will keep paying your salary. No. So they ought to be organized enough, and when you are preparing for this, whether government decides to pay you or not, you will be ready to remain on strike. So the issue of no work, no pay, I don't think that by saying they will not pay, I don't think the government has done anything on hard off. I won't say wrong, anything on hard off. At this stage, they are not the best of friends. I want you to go back to work. You are not ready to go back to work. You want me to pay you. If the government says it's not paying, I don't think it's done anything terrible. What government needs to do is honor its own side of the bargain. honor your side of the bargain. All what the Minister of Labour is doing, I'm terribly disappointed. You know, you need someone even with an ability to negotiate, to hold that kind of position. Someone with that background of negotiating with Labour, but not a man who will simply be shouting at them as if they are his children. You've got to be able to negotiate with them and not simply be issuing threats. You set up a committee with ASU, for example, because it's the same strategy that is not working that the Minister of Labour is using even with ASU. You set up an implementation committee, a renegotiation committee headed by former NUC executive secretary Musa Linjibri. But you refuse to implement the decisions of Professor Musa Linjibri. Why did you set up the committee in the first place? Nobody forced you to. Now Musa Linjibri finished his work and said, okay, this is the outcome of my work. You are refusing to implement, and if you don't implement, the renegotiation that ASU has been asking for will not happen. It's the same thing with these guys. They suspended their strike on the 10th of April. Between that time and now,
nothing. You
didn't really do anything. Out of 8 demands, you met one and partially met the other.
As a honorable.
Yes. Now, is anybody surprised that they are now going on strike? And you think that you can simply continue like that? Now, once Johesu joins them,
you need to paralyze the sector effectively, the health sector.
Because those are the junior health workers.
Yes.
Who will be left in public health institutions? Who will be left? Who will be left? They are, even the consultants will not see people that they can send on errands.
There's nobody to clean.
I am Femi from the United Kingdom. Thank you for joining us, Femi.
Yeah, good afternoon, Ayo.
Good afternoon, Femi.
Yeah, you see the problem with this Ngige of a man. I don't know. I'm sorry to say, I don't think he's fit for that post. Why I'm saying this is, I watched one of his interview on channels, and the way he was talking, he said that Nigeria has more than enough doctors. So if they are going to Saudi Arabia, it's like they are exporting. Nigeria is exporting medical doctors to Saudi Arabia because we have so many in Nigeria. So that we should not be bothered. That people in Nigeria should not be bothered that there are a lot of doctors and I mean, as a minister and himself as a medical doctor, I don't expect him to say that. His negotiation power is below average. I'm sorry to say. He needs to do something more than what he's doing now.
Too arrogant.
Thank you, Femi. It's, you know, since they've been negotiating and everything, it has always been on this hardline stand that the minister has been taking.
I think the minister is digging deep, and he has made up his mind that's going to be his last stand, which I hope seriously. It will be the last time we have this kind of problem in the medical subsector. Number one, the no work, no pay is applicable only if one party has met 50% of the demands, which is the threshold for when labor negotiates. We've not met 30% of what we agreed to do with the doctors. So while it is logical that the government can call the principle of no work, no pay, they've not met the threshold that is required by law for them to do so, because they've not paid these people. Number two, these people have been surviving, if I can use that word, during the COVID era by running non-state hospitals. You are simply deriving the public sector of the expertise. And once they join, the junior workers and later not the consultants, there will be a total paralysis.
Because even the consultants want the other day that they could.
There will be a total paralysis of the health sector. And you know those who will be affected are the poor people.
Yes.
Because those who run this system jump to the plane the very next day to go and check their headache.
No, to treat Qatar.
I even thought headache was this place. Qatar is even senior. Just to feel dizzy, they are willing to go out and spend money to treat it. Because we are in trouble.
If you look at the casualties recorded now. We're not talking about that that area. If you want to take our camera to visit general hospitals, tertiary health institutions, and in the midst of
I was with a nurse. Pandemic. I was with a nurse last night, and she was saying, "See, I don't know what I'm still doing in Nigeria. That's medical workers, especially public health workers, are now appreciated that the best thing is to go out." And I'm like, you are going to leave your husband? And she said, yes, my husband will understand. You know, we live in the era when the husband is expected to understand. Apologies to the BBN people. You know, the husband is expected to understand. So I said, you are going to leave? He said, yes, we are now appreciated. People are dying. You can see that even foreign health practitioners are coming to invest in Nigeria. Now, you see hospitals with foreign backing in our country because they know that these rich people, a lot of them who have stolen money, they can pay any amount. When COVID was at the peak of the COVID epidemic,
that hospital
last year, the kind of money that we were told were being paid.
Yes.
To a particular hospital.
Yes. And that's not the only one. There are some of those hospitals even in the Lekki area. The kind of money that they were being paid. Yet they were dying. Yeah, they were dying.
Because they could not travel, that's why.
Yes. Yes, there were some of them who could not travel. There was a particular person that had been traveling for more than 10 years. He had not missed it. When COVID came, he could not travel. He lost his life. He lost his life. So we need to do something about the public health institutions. We have a ruling class that does not mind if our public health institutions die, if our public universities die, because they have alternatives. Somebody who had not practiced medicine for many years does not care what goes on there. He's been a politician all these years.
For 22 years.
Yes. Do we even have enough hospitals? A lot of the doctors prefer to work in urban centers. Go to some states in the north.
Look at the ratio of doctors to.
We don't have enough. How can anybody even think like that? I'm saying we don't even have enough hospitals. We should have much more primary health centers than we have
across the country.
Because some of the, like the general hospitals, for example, they shouldn't be attending to malaria and typhoid and the rest. No, it should be the PHCs that should do that. But many people end up there.
And there should be a PhD every 10 streets.
Yes, but that's not what we are seeing.
As designed by Professor Oliko,
every 10 streets or every ward should have a primary health.
That's not what we are seeing.
That means today we should have nothing less than 774 times 10. That's 7,740.
You know, when we even meet that threshold, we will then start again.
Yeah.
To begin to add to that. That is how a nation develops. You set targets for yourself, you meet that target, you start again. You start again. But leaders just don't think in this way. They just want to do that which they think is necessary for today.
Minimum.
GKB, I don't know where you've seen this video of the first set of doctors collecting their remuneration in Saudi Arabia, and they started crying.
Yes, I spoke to a friend of mine whose brother was there.
Times 20 of what
he said the brother
and they've not collected all their packages.
Hold on. The brother went to Saudi Arabia, I think Qatar, not Saudi. And he got his first salary and he called his brother in the middle of the night. He said around 1 a.m. And the man spent the next 1 hour saying things that cannot be said on telly about Nigeria. That the brother who was a nationalist at that, that said he's not going to leave Nigeria, he was forced out of the system, he went to Qatar. He said this brother called him around 1 a.m. in the morning and was saying unpredictable things about Nigeria for the next 2 hours. He said he called the phone, the man called back, that he's not finished yet, about talking unpredictable things about Nigeria. Because he said in 1 month, his blood pressure has gone down. His salary has not been able to take care of certain things that he thought he would never be able to do. And he's now telling the brother to hands off taking care of their parents. That is now the chief earner in the family based on conversion of the money is earning in Qatar. I keep telling people like the minister that what you don't understand about this sector is the fact that in the next 2 years, you drive these people underground. Half of them will leave medicine totally, and half of them will travel. That means Nigeria in the next 3 years will be without primary elements of the medicine to treat our doctors. And you are talking about rural areas. It will now come to urban centers. Right now, I think it's 700 to one doctor. By then, it will be 10,000.
Look at how many thousands of doctors have left Nigeria.
And are leaving.
In the last 10 years.
The health system in the US, they hold it. In the UK, the same thing.
Yes. Look at that Nigerian who came from the US and died last December.
Yeah.
He had a thriving medical practice. Over there. A thriving medical practice in Nigeria.
So there are some cities in the US that you cannot see consultants. More than 4, that 2 will not be Nigerians. So you'll be surprised. Because once you start talking,
we groom them here. We groom them here for other lands to use.
And I'm not talking about UIO. I'm not talking about doctors who went to UIO. I'm talking about those who went to Lasut, who went to those state universities. This guy get over there, they become superstars.
Yes.
And they will tell you to your face.
Just like my younger brother was saying the other day, he said the medical colleges here, they train people properly. That a lot of his friends, they sat for test over
and
there
they pass
in one sitting.
Yeah.
In one sitting. Some of them are stars over there. That means this system, this country can produce world beaters. But to retain those world beaters,
that's the problem.
And appreciate them.
Appreciate, if you don't appreciate, how do you then retain them?
To
retain them for the good of all of us. Is what we can do.
They don't care.
It's happening, yes, in football, even in athletics. He was talking about Francis Obikwelu. The other Francis Obikwelu used to run for Nigeria.
Yes.
In Nanga, he left and was competing in the colours of Portugal. You know, I've seen people from Qatar and other places bearing Nigerian names. They were banning us. This is our children. You know, they are competing over there. They've left us. Nigeria must realize that the world is not prepared to wait for us.
No.
That is what we don't know. Everyone is prepared to leave us behind.
Thank you for your contribution today.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Babajide Bikio, thank you for your contributions.
Balance.
And that's our offering today. Join us tomorrow for another episode of the program. You can watch the repeat broadcast tonight at 11, and don't forget to join us on Journalist Hangout on Sunday, 1:30 to 3:30 p.m. We're on YouTube, youtube.com/TVC News Nigeria. I'm Ayodele Uzuaku. Bye for now, and God bless Nigeria.